Hello and welcome to this first ad extension video where we're going to be looking at site links. We're already on site links at the minute, but if we weren't, we would click the site link tab at the top and it would reload. Now there's just one thing that I want to show you before we actually get into building the site links, and that is the type of site link you can have. So at the minute you'll see here it says campaign site link extension. What this means is that when we create these ad extensions, they will be shown throughout this whole campaign. So they'll be shown in the Bradford ad group, they'll be shown in the Leeds ad group, and if there was more groups in here as well, they'd also be shown in there as well. So we can actually click an ad group and we can add ad group level site links. Now you might want to do this if, for example, you wanted separate site links for Bradford and separate site links for Leeds. For this video, we're just going to stick with the campaign level. So we're going to go down here to the red button to add extensions. It says select at least 4 site links to use with this campaign. Now obviously there are no site links available, so what we need to do is we need to create some site links. To do that, we're just going to go to this button here, new site link. As you can see, it brings up a little builder here for the site link. So we have the link text, the landing page, which is either the destination URL or final URL. Now you'll see that the default is actually on destination URL and it's recommended is final URL. It really doesn't matter which one of these you choose, because eventually, sometime after I've shot this video, destination URLs are actually going to be discontinued anyway. So even if you choose destination URL now, it's going to revert to final URL eventually. So, change this or don't. It doesn't really matter. And then also you can choose whether you want this to show on mobile or not. So this means that you can actually separate site links. You can create separate ones for the desktop and tablet ads, and you can set separate ones for the mobile ads. Again, a little bit more advanced and a little bit more time on your part, but if you can think of messages or specific pages that you'd like to send people to who are on mobile devices, by all means add in mobile ones as well. And then underneath you have an optional description. And I think if we go back to the example we looked at before, you see here these are the site links and there are no descriptions. If there was a description underneath it, there would be some more text here. And, by all means, test this. It's not something that I do that often. Generally, I'll just create the site link and not bother with the description. But, again, it's definitely something you should test. You may find that with a description, you're going to get better click-through rates and the conversion rates are higher. Obviously, as I keep mentioning throughout this course, you don't know the answer to these questions until you actually test things. So, test having a description versus not having a description. So one thing we can do with site links is we can link to other areas within our site. So for example, with a locksmith, we may have a specialist auto locksmith page. So we could add that as a site link. So that's a specialist auto locksmith. A little bit of a typo there, we'll just correct that. Okay, and the thing that you would do in this instance would be you would link directly to the page. So, for example, you could link to 24-hour locksmith.info /auto locksmith. So, obviously, this would have to be a page that existed on your site. You can't just make something up here. This would have to be a real page. Because this isn't a real page that I actually have on the site, for now, I'm just going to leave this as the home page. And it is totally acceptable to do that as well. There's no sort of hard and fast rules here. You can link to different pages, or you can just use it to sort of bulk the ad out and make it more clickable and add more features to the ad. So it's quite alright to link to the home page. And for a description, again, it's entirely up to you. You actually have 70 characters here, so it's almost like writing another ad underneath your ad. Generally, I just use the link text and the URL, and I'll just save it there. So what you're going to notice up here is we now have the one site link in here, and it's also shown here, which means it's added to this particular campaign. You'll also notice over here, we can click the drop down and we can copy and edit. If you want to create an identical ad for mobile, you can do that by clicking here. So for example, click the mobile and save. Now, as you can see, we have a desktop version and we have a mobile version. And this can be quite useful because if we scroll back up here a little bit, you're going to see the site link here and clicks and impressions. Once you actually start getting data on the site links, as your ad starts to receive impressions, if you have separate site links for mobile and for desktop and you're going to be able to see that up here. So you'll actually be able to see what works well on mobile and what works well on other devices. So yeah, it's definitely worth considering. Another good thing you can do, once you've written the site links out and they're added here, if you decide that you don't want to use the site link anymore, you can just add it back into the site link area over here. So now you see we just have one site link. Then you can continue to add more site links. So let's try another one, and we could add something like areas that we cover. So this could link to a page on your site that has all the locations that you service. Now, obviously, if you're not in a service type business and you don't travel to do jobs, perhaps you have a physical location where you sell things from, the site links are going to be slightly different. This is going to reflect the type of business that you're in. So really what you need to do is you need to think of some, are there any secondary pages on your site that you think it'd be really useful to send potential customer to? If so, that's exactly what site links are for. So in this instance, I'm going to just link this to the home page again. Obviously, if I did have an area that we cover page, I would add that here, the full address, but for this example I don't, so I'm just going to leave it at that. I'm going to click save. And there you go, we have 2 site links now. I would usually carry on in this fashion until I have 4 site links. Okay, so we've got 2 site links now. I'm just going to quickly pause the video and just add 2 more. Okay, so here we are, we're back now, and as you can see I've created 4 in total. So, that's what I recommend you do to start with. Just choose 4 secondary pages that you'd like to link to, that you think are going to be useful to the people who are going to be clicking on your ad. And one thing I can tell you, and this is straight from Google themselves, they say that by adding site links, it's going to boost the average click-through rate of an ad by anywhere between 10 and 20%. So, not having these in your campaign, you're going to be doing yourself a disservice. Plus, you're making things better for the people who click your ads. By giving them more choice, you're just making the whole experience better for your potential clients. So there you go, that's how you create site links. We're just going to scroll down here now. We're going to click save. And there you go. There are your site links. If you ever want to edit them, you can just come back to this page and simply click on the little pencil here, and it just opens it back up. As you can see, we're back in the site link builder area again. So just cancel that and come back out. And there you go, that's the video on site links. I highly recommend you use these. Obviously, as I mentioned before, they can increase click-through rate by 10 to 20%. They're going to give the people who click on your ads much more options. And besides that, it just makes your ad stand out. It's going to make the ad look much bigger. If we remember back when we looked before, just look how much bigger this ad looks than this ad. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope the explanation's given you a few ideas of the sort of site links you could have in your campaign. Okay, we'll see you in the next video.